for North Mason Senior Grad Night and the Hub Center for Seniors. Kathleen Geis sent in an application for the Parks and Trails Advisory Board, and Mike Hill sent in an application for the Planning Advisory Committee. Squaxin Island Tribes Legal Department sent in a notice regarding marijuana processing and production activities.
All right, thank you very much. Let's move on to item number 4.2. And Commissioner Schutte, if you could read that, please.
Sure thing, Madam Chair. We have a proclamation for National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, which is April 9th through 15th, 2023. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property, and whereas the safety of our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is dependent upon the quality of and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the MACECOM Emergency Communication Center, and whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our residents have with emergency services, and whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety, and whereas public safety telecommunicators of MACECOM have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients, and whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year, especially under difficult circumstances, and now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Mason County Commissioners hereby proclaims April 9th through 15th, 2023 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Mason County, in honor of the dispatchers whose diligence and professionalism keep our community and residents safe. Signed this day of April 11th, 2023.
Great, thank you so much. Let's move on to item 4.3, Child Abuse Prevention Month Proclamation. Commissioner, would you read that?
Absolutely. Madam Chair, whereas Mason County recognizes our future rests in the hands of our most vulnerable and cherished assets, our children. And whereas all children deserve to live in safe, stable, and nurturing environments which promote their healthy growth and development. And whereas child abuse, neglect, and other trauma are recognized as serious public health problems affecting both the current and future quality of life in our community. And whereas it is the responsibility of our community to ensure parents, caregivers, and other adults who influence the health and well-being of children to have the support, knowledge, and concrete resources necessary to ensure all children thrive to their greatest potential. And whereas effective child abuse prevention strategies succeed because of partnerships among agencies, schools, religious organizations, law enforcement agencies, healthcare providers, and the business community. And whereas the public safety telecommunicators of MACECOM have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And whereas we as Mason County residents continue our commitment to protecting all members of our community and call upon all citizens to join together to increase public safety and prevent the further abuse and neglect of our children. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Mason County Commissioners hereby proclaims April of 2023 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Mason County and urge all citizens, communities, state agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, elected leaders, medical providers, educators, and businesses to increase their participation efforts to support families, thereby helping to prevent child abuse and strengthening the community in which we live. Signed this day, April 11th, 2023.
Thank you so much. All right, let's move on to item number 5. This is the time we set aside for citizen input with 3 minutes per person, 15-minute total time. Ask that you raise your hand. When you do, I'll call on you. And please state your name and where you're from. Do we have anyone in the room that would like to say anything? How about in our Zoom room? All right. Let's move on to item number 6, adoption of agenda.
Madam Chair, I move adoption of today's agenda as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Move on to item number 7.
Madam Chair, I'll move for the approval of the March 20, March 27th, and April 3rd, 2023 briefing minutes and the March 28th, 2023 regular minutes as presented.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the March 20th, March 27th, and April 3rd, 2023 briefing minutes and March 28th, 2023 regular minutes. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to item number 8, approval of our action agenda. Commissioners will read through the action agenda. Commissioners or citizens can ask that an item be removed for separate discussion or a vote. Commissioner Netherland, if you could take items 8.1 through 8.3. Commissioner Schutte, 8.4 through 8.10, and I will take 8.11 through 8.13.
Happy to. Madam Chair, item number 8.1 reads approval of warrants and treasurer's electronic remittance. Claims, clearing fund, warrants number 8095030 through 8095292. The amount, $2,304,242.67. Direct deposit fund, warrants number 95206 through 95610. The amount, $860,499.14. Salary Clearing Fund, warrants number 7007265 through 7007287. The amount, $567,125.44. Treasurer's Electronic Remittance, amount, $176,074.61. Item number 8.2, approval to appoint Kathleen Geist to the Mason County Parks and Trails Advisory Board for a 4-year term expiring December 31st, 2027. Item number 8.3, approval to designate the Mason County Economic Development Council, EDC, as Mason County's Associate Development Organization, or ADO, for the 2023 through 2025 biennium.
Item 8.4, approval of the revised resolution replacing resolution number 43-13 for County Road Project 2020, Old Belfair Highway, to update new project limits. Item 8.5, approval of the contract renewal with Lewis County for the use of jail facilities to house prisoners at the daily rate of $92.40 for general population inmates and $110.88 for those who would require individual housing. Item 8.6, approval of the shelter program grant amendment with Community Lifeline for the additional amount of $57,235 to increase shelter bed capacity from 35 beds to 50 beds. Item 8.7, approval to amend the contract with Mason Web TV to include an option for Zoom only for a flat rate fee of $25 per hour. Item 8.8, approval to utilize Navia Benefit Solutions Incorporated to implement a flexible spending account for Mason County eligible employees. Item 8.9, approval of the resolution adding section 8.14, discipline corrective action, to the Mason County personnel policy. And item 8.10, approval for the county administrator to sign the opioid settlement agreements with Allergan, CVS, Teva, Walgreens, and Walmart, and to sign the allocation agreement too using DocuSign.
Item 8.11, approval of the resolution for County Roads Project 2049 North Shore Road, Little Shoofly Culvert Replacement Project on North Shore Road at milepost 8.18, and approval to authorize the county engineer and/or chair to sign all pertinent documents, and for Public Works to advertise, set a bid date and time, and award the bid for structure. Item 8.12, approval for the county administrator to sign the contract with Mendoza's Texas Style Food for concession services at Mason County Recreation Area for 2023, with the option to extend the contract for up to 3 additional years. Item 8.13, approval for the county administrator to sign the professional services agreement amendment with Cabot Dow Associates Incorporated for an additional $20,000 and to extend the end date to May 1st, 2024. Having read through the action agenda, are there items that you would like to be removed for separate discussion or vote?
With me.
Anything in the audience? Anyone in the audience? In the Zoom room? All right.
This is Ken Van Busker. I have a question.
All right, Ken, could you state your name and where you're from?
Ken Van Busker from Belfair. I wanted to ask a couple of questions about 8.4.
Item 8.4.
Yeah,
All right, we will remove that one for separate discussion and
sure,
vote.
sure.
All right, anything else? Hearing none.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of the action agenda as presented with the removal of item 8.4 for a separate conversation and vote.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the action agenda as presented with the removal of item 8.4 for separate discussion and vote. I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion
Little
passes.
comment if I may, though.
Absolutely.
To the Sheriff's Department, I want to thank you for this, this contract renewal that we're putting forward. It's a smart move. It gives us, not just a catch-all for the end, but it may be good as we're moving forward with other projects to be able to house individuals there, as one, which is something that's hard for us to do here. And I just wanted to say I appreciate that because it really was a step up, and I wanted to appreciate you for stepping forward to serve on another board with us and helping us out again, Kathy.
Yes, thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, I was gonna call you out, Kathy, and I knew you couldn't stay retired.
I know, right? I know.
We're so happy to have you on that.
Well, I appreciate all of our parks and trails, and I think we're really so lucky to have such wonderful parks and trails, and such a great parks department. They take such good care of our resources, and I think it's vital to our economic and social health and prosperity in our county. So I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to helping.
All right, great, thank you so much.
And then one last thing, shout out to our HR department, to Mary, who on her own brought this forward, to have a flexible spending account for our employees that gives them the opportunity to really do some good things with that money and not be taxed on it for childcare and some of the health expenditures. And again, if I remember correctly, that basically came out of her own mind, and she brought it forward, and here we are putting it into place, which is a great thing. So thank you to her.
Ditto on that one. All right, let's move on to item 8.4. This is the approval of the revised resolution replacing resolution number 43.13 or -13 for County Road Project 2020 Old Belfair Highway to update the new project limits.
Hopefully you can do it because she's done it.
Yeah,
Oh, she online? Okay, good deal.
Loretta, could you brief this for?
Oh, she's got
There's
Mike coming
Mike.
in.
Mike, could you brief this for us?
Hello, this project was a RAP project, prior to us adjusting the length, it was 4/10 of a mile long. With the amount of funds that we had, we decided that we could extend it, so now we're at 1.4 miles. So we're going from the Union River Bridge all the way out past Fish Hatchery Road. The project is to pave the road, 12-foot lanes and 5-foot paved shoulders. A continuation of similar project we just did a couple of years ago in the lower half of the road.
All right, any questions for staff? No. Ken, did you have some questions that you would like to
Yeah.
ask staff?
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Ken Van Busker, Belfair. Mike, I was curious, I noticed that there's something to do with a culvert there. Is that Courtney Creek?
We are not doing anything to any cross culverts. The only culvert work that we're doing is some roadside ditches. We're covering some of those areas with a French drain system so we can get our width.
Oh, so to extend this project, you don't have to do anything with the existing culvert at Courtney Creek?
No.
Okay. And my other question was, I know you extended it quite a ways out, further out. But one of my concerns is that when we upgraded the sub-area plan, there was talk about intersection control at Old Belfair Highway in Newkirk, and I wonder if the county's put any thoughts into whether the road should be widened and extended or put in that intersection control, which should be a priority. And I don't know what the tentative timeline is for the widening project, but I think it would be wise to at least consider the impact to the UGA when you do that.
Yes, we will consider that. We're, this is part of the process of widening out now. We have 10, we have 5-foot shoulders on each side, so therefore, eventually you would end up with a turn lane there or a pocket and stuff. So yes, that is part of the future.
Is this currently, what's the timeline for this project?
For the project that we're discussing here,
Yes.
county forces are actually working on it now. And so the county forces will come in and do the dirt work, and then we'll contract out a paving job this summer.
So, yeah, I think that's gonna need to be coordinated with Warstock for certain. So, anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. Thanks for letting me know when that's gonna happen.
Yep, thank you.
All right, do we have any other questions for Mike? All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? How about a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll move that for the approval of resolution replacing resolution number 43-13 for the County Road Project CRP 2020 Old Belfair Highway to update new project limits.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the revised resolution replacing resolution number 43-13 for County Road Project 2020 Old Belfair Highway to update new project limits. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, thanks, Mike. Let's move on to item number 9, other business. This is the time we set aside for department heads or elected officials to address the commission or the public. Do we have anyone that would like to address? Please state your name.
Ryan Spelling, Mason County Sheriff. First off, I wanted to thank you for recognizing our telecommunication week. Our MACECOM and the telecommunicators, the people that take care of law enforcement, are crucial to us for the last almost 35 years. My lifeline has been the radio. I worked many years on Snoqualmie Pass where my nearest backup was 2 hours away, and those people took a vested interest in my safety, and they always have. And our partnership with MACECOM has been critical. I was just out Saturday when we went up to the wildfire, and I was wildfire education class in Tahuya, listening to MACECOM and just how good they are. Our deputies had signed out with something. MACECOM had already done all of the background, knew the individuals who lived at the residence, gave whether they had warrants. They just did all the extra work that is not necessarily done just to keep our deputies safe and let them know what they were going into. So I wanted to recognize them. And then another thing I wanted to just give a shout out to our 2 lieutenants who headed up our accreditation project. We are one of 3 of the 39 sheriff's offices in the state of Washington that are accredited both on our jail side and our patrol side. And only 5 agencies in the entire state are accredited on both sides, and we now are accredited on both sides. And whether it's good or bad, we were the only ones who ever did the accreditation for both sides at the same time. And that may be not such a good thing, maybe that we're a little foolish or take on too much, but we did both of them. We're excited about that. And Sheriff Salisbury will be able to be at the WASPIC conference where those accreditations are awarded because he was the one that started that ball rolling. So I just want to let you know what a great team we have and what hard work they've done to be recognized, and that helps with county risk pool, it helps with industry standards, best practices, in court, if there's lawsuits, all of those things. It makes a big difference when an outside entity is coming in and inspecting everything that you do and giving you feedback. So super excited about that. Lieutenant Schoenberg and Lieutenant Severance were the ones that led that. Obviously, it takes the whole agency, but they were the spearhead on that. So I just wanted to let you know that and thank them for their hard work.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I don't know if you noticed, but we must be thankful to MACECOM Extra too, because we had an extra paragraph in the Child Abuse Prevention Month recognizing them. I think it was a little bit of a mistake in the wrong one, but it's,
Just as important than that too, right?
when I read it, I got stopped for a second. That's where I was stopped at. I think I belonged in the other one, but it's all right.
All right, anyone else?
Just an update for the board. Tomorrow I'm heading over to Leavenworth to attend the Washington State County Administrators Conference. So we'll be meeting with other county administrators throughout the 39 counties in Washington State and discussing things like how are we going to move forward on our opioid settlement money and get that process in place. Also discussing some laws that are coming forward with this year's legislative actions. So I'm excited to attend. It'll be my first time that I've attended this conference, and I've heard from some of my counterparts that this is an extremely valuable conference to go to. So I will report back on Monday.
Great.
Let us know if there's any hazing or initiation stuff that we need to work
Yeah.
out.
If you hear a goat, run.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we'll move on after that one. Anyone in the Zoom room? All right. Let's move on to, item 10, we have no public hearings today. So we'll move on to item number 11, board calendar and reports. Ask Commissioner Netherland to go first, Commissioner Schutte, and then I'll follow.
Okay, the last couple weeks we had our Board of Health meeting. I attended 3 days of training and education for our risk pool this last couple weeks ago here. 2 celebration of lives that I had to attend. Again, some of our best people, it's so funny how that works. You start realizing how many you're missing when you attend these. I took a moment and met with Transportation Secretary Millard, and it was a wonderful, wonderful meeting. He ended up giving me just one-on-one 2+ hours of his time. We just sat and talked about all the issues that we have, especially, of course, the bypass. After which I know that he had expressed to the regional director that if there's anything that gets in the way of that project, that he's to call them immediately. He definitely understands, at least at this point, that it is a safety issue. There is no way around that. He explained to me that it had been proposed over and over as economic development, which it is, but the safety issues are the parts that it was a little hard for him to ignore. So we ended up also talking about safety issues on Highway 300, the traffic calming at that intersection, and possibilities of working together in the future to have a traffic circle there. We also had some deaths on Highway 300, and there was talks about what to do for widening and raising the bed of that area to avoid the water coming onto the highways and to allow for pedestrians. And there might be some opportunities coming up there. Right in, right out, out by the McDonald's, the Johns Prairie intersection, and what's going on there, and also different widening projects that he'd like to look at in the future for creating more safety around our region. Coming up, let's see, we also had Peninsula Regional Transportation Organization meeting. I had a cemetery board meeting. We had our pancake breakfast where the sheriff was out there and attended. It was a wildfire education class for the community out in Tahuya. They did an absolutely wonderful job. Another celebration of life. Then we attended something called the Happening. The Happening at the hub in Belfair. They provided all these different opportunities for the kids, and it was a flashback to 3 years ago that comes up on the Facebook where we weren't allowed to do any of that, and we got special permission to be able to have a drive-through giving of eggs and candy 3 years ago, because no contact. We'd open the trunk and we'd put the stuff in the trunk and had opportunities for them to see a bunny rabbit, or at least a big ugly guy wearing white with bunny ears on his head. Things have changed. There were so many people there you couldn't hardly breathe. I mean, they were just packed. The people are wanting to come back out into the world and they're doing a great job. So next up, we have a finance meeting. Then we also have a meeting with Mason Transit Authority, Criminal Justice Workshop, Olympic Regional Clean Air Authority meeting. North Mason Community Voice is having a meeting regarding power outages and emergency situations for out there in that area. Then I have an Olympic Regional Clean Air Authority Finance Committee meeting and performing a wedding on this next weekend. North Mason Chamber of Commerce meeting, Mason County Housing Authority Board meeting, legislative virtual meeting, Foothill Dog Park, I think we may all be there for that. I have a political kickoff here in Shelton and then another Peninsula Regional Transportation Organization meeting, and that brings us back to here. Somebody asked me about do we meet with our constituents? We meet with them all the time. We just don't always put it on the calendar here. There has been times in the past when we put things in there and people demand more and more information, where some of that stuff is people are a little bit private and they're worried about this or they're worried about that and they'd like to keep it private. So I just want you to know, this commission meets with a lot of people that you'll never know about, we don't ever talk about, because we're not in the same room, so we don't have to disclose it. Just don't think that it's not happening, it is.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, this is about clearing conflicts for a quorum more than anything. Provide some community updates. There's a lot of things that we do that have no chance of being a quorum, and so they don't always. Those things don't always get noticed here. And moving forward, have a meeting with Republic Services later on today, as well as a constituent meeting. Have MACECOM board meeting, and so commissioners, I'll be able to take our proclamation over and convey to them your appreciation and support for all the work that they do on our behalf. Going forward this week, also have Criminal Justice Working Team, a meeting with Great Peninsula Conservancy, IT Steering Committee. On Thursday, I'll be out and about with Loretta on a couple of constituent meetings that have some road questions and project questions, and then also have our YMCA annual campaign celebration out at the Ridge Motorsports Park on Thursday night. I'll be at the Prevention Summit for at least part of Friday, as well as a Transforming Our Communities planning event with the University of Washington. Going forward next week, briefings. We do have Mason Transit, Hood Canal Coordinating Council. I'll be speaking to Shelton Rotary as well. And it looks like my Thurston Mason BHASO Governance Board meeting. And then I'm actually out of town for a little while. So see you when I see you.
Thanks for the warning. So I was able to represent the commission for a couple of retirements over at the Colonial House, Anna Pamperin and Rose Kerr. So I just wanted to give them a quick shout out. Two amazing women, one 8 years, the other 32 years. So thank you for your service to Mason County and to the Sheriff's Office. So later today we do have a Finance Committee meeting with Republic Services today also, but at a different time. Then I have Turning Point, fundraising committees and Power of the Purse committee meetings, Public Works Board executive meeting, LSC roundtable on Wednesday night, LSC meeting, along with the EDC meeting that morning, so back to back. Pack Mountain Executive Finance Committee meeting, Public Works Board traditional meeting, and then meeting, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Ferde von Ferde?
On Roofe.
Thank you, thank you.
Wow.
And so looking forward to that one. Saturday is a celebration of life for Connie Wilson, so I will not be at the dog park on the 15th. Then we are back here for the briefing on Monday, Wasac Virtual Assembly, Mason Transit meeting, and that is in Belfair. Just want to make sure that everybody knows that. Local emergency planning meeting, lodging tax meeting, the Republican Women's Club meeting on Wednesday. And then I believe the sheriff's breakfast is on the 21st, or is that another day? Nope, that's not the 21st. Ignore that one. Public Works Executive Committee meeting, Public Works Traditional Meetings, LSC meeting, and then also on the 21st is the Chamber Gala. Don't know if you guys are going to that or not, but, and then on the 22nd is also a Women's Club meeting in, so we got that one, then we're back for briefings on Monday where Commissioner Schutte is gone. Mason GOP meeting, I might go to that one. And then we're back for our commission meeting. And that's also property tax day. All right.
I just wanted to point out, he could be having really good fun with you. You go to meet that gentleman, you say the name the way he said it, and he's just, oh, just kidding.
His name's like Stan Smith.
Yeah. That's how he was.
I'll say, just call me Bob.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. I have a hard enough time talking. I can't imagine pronouncing his name perfectly. All right. Do we have anything else?
Move we adjourn.
Second?
We're adjourned.